Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they had to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad you could join me today. And if you're listening to this show on Podomatic, you can also find it on iTunes, and you can go to womenentrepreneursecrets.com, and under the radio tab on the menu bar, you can find all the other platforms that the show is on, and you could also find the link to iTunes and subscribe to that. And also the older shows are being moved from Blog Talk Radio to Libsyn, so there's a link for that as well. So little by little, those shows are being moved over so you can listen to the other entrepreneurs who've been on over the years and, check out what they have to share with you. So I hope you'll do that as well. And if you're on iTunes, you have an account, please stop by and leave a review, hopefully be 5 stars, and share that with everyone, because it makes the show a little easier to be found if there's more ratings for it. So I hope that you will do that as well. Or, of course, you can leave feedback on the blog. Great to hear what you think of the shows. So we're going to get started today with the topic, which I think is very timely, how to start and grow a business in today's online cluttered market. And I'm having a returning guest who was on years ago, Kristin Marquet, and I think she was on the Blog Talk Radio days. We were just talking about that. So, which seems like a long time ago, but in a way, I guess, it is and it isn't. It goes by so fast. You're like, didn't that just happen? But, she's been on before, and we've been in touch over the years. So she's come to talk about something that she's got going on right now. I think it would definitely be of interest to you. And Kristin Marquet is the founder of the Haute Rebel.com, or rather the HauteRebel.com. I always want to pronounce that differently. I don't know why, because I know what it is, but I'm like, wait.
You're not the only one, trust me. I still have problems with it.
So, okay. A one-stop shop for women 30 plus who are looking to live happier, healthier, and more stylish lives. And she's also the founder and creative director of creative development agency, formerly award-winning firm Marquet Media. And she's also authored the best-selling book, Squash the Competition and Dominate Your Marketplace, 55 Easy Tips to Generate Big Publicity for Your Startup or Small Business. As someone who is passionate about helping female entrepreneurs grow their businesses, she's launched an online community resource, femfounder.co. So welcome back to the show, Kristin. Really glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Deb. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a lot of exciting things, and I think you usually are in the middle of a lot of things going on, so I'm not surprised that you would be yet again launching something like this. So why don't you share with us, what is the Haute Rebel? What is it all about?
You know what, Deb, I actually, being a news junkie and working in PR, I've always had to go to, every morning, 30, 40, 50 different sources to get my news and to see what's happening in the world and how I could tie, my clients' expertise or companies into what's trending in the media so I could pitch them. And also me just being, like I said, content and news junkie, I would go to just for my own research, and to see what the hottest trends are in fashion, beauty, lifestyle. I would go to 5 or 10 different websites or magazines, newspapers, news sources, and I just got sick of it. So what I did was throughout the years, I've had clients and friends always say, you know what, I wish that there was one place I can go to get the best in fashion, beauty, lifestyle, or wellness, health. And so what I did was I decided to segment the market because there's so many magazines and websites that cater to that, 18 to 29 market. And I decided to shift it and really niche down and focus on women that are 30 plus, more specifically like 30 to 50. That are established in their careers and that really like the finer things in life, and puts together a website that is just the best content, the hottest new designers for women, that are a little bit older, the best ways to travel, different recipes, just overall the best ways that you can get your news in, 2 minutes or less, and just make it available in one place. And that's why I started the Haute Rebel. And, we're actually launching officially on September 5th. And since I actually just did put the website online, I guess it was last night. I mean, we've had our first 5,000 page views, which is kind of crazy because I haven't even really started to market it yet. I just sent out a couple text messages and a couple emails, and it's starting to catch on. So I'm hopeful that we'll reach wider audiences, and we'll be able to help inspire women and help them be able to get their news, like I said, in a couple minutes instead of an hour.
Right.
Because in this day and age, who really has the time to sit there, and read, 5 different websites or 5 different magazines?
Well, that's so true. And I was just talking to somebody else about how, technology was supposed to make everything so much easier. And when I was in IT, the whole idea was, we're coming out with all these things and you learn all this technology and all these systems. And it just seemed like it became more and more complicated. And now, your job never ends because you always had some kind of way that they can get in touch with you, and things were always running and going. I'm like, well, I thought things were supposed to be easier, but we have so much information and so many ways to retrieve it that sometimes it just gets so overwhelming, So I think that having one source that really pulls everything in is something that sounds really terrific.
Yeah, it's, that's kind of what people want, that's what our consumers or our readers are looking for. They want to be able to digest their news in, the span it takes them to drink a cup of coffee. And that's essentially what I'm striving to give. And, we'll see how it goes, but I'm actually really excited to, kind of shift my, creative marketing and PR background to more of the publishing and e-commerce world.
Right. And I really think that that's where things are heading. It's information and how you can get it, and we can hear about things from all over the world and so quickly, and also about what other entrepreneurs are doing all over the world. It's not so much silos as people can really come together and be connected. So I think that's terrific. But then that takes us to the other point, the saturate market.
Everybody's online.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, the way to make your venture stand out, the first thing is, the guy or the company that can afford to spend the most amount of money to acquire a customer or a reader is going to win. So not unless, you're VC funded or you have millions of dollars to spend in advertising and, other paid search, social media marketing, collaborations, whatever, you really need to niche down, and you need to focus on one segment and really saturate that market. So, and that's exactly what we did, even though, there are websites, lifestyle websites like goop.com and purewow.com, that kind of cater to that 30 plus. They are marketing on a mass level. We're really trying to connect with our readers on an intimate level, like we're talking to them one-to-one.
Yeah.
And that's really for us what it's about. It's the unique voice, and it's giving content that resonates with them. And that's why, like I said, we really niche down that 30 to 50 market, North America, UK, and Australia, kind of the more affluent professional consumer that's looking to, like I said, just enhance their life overall. And that's who I am. That's where I am in my life. And I just wish that there was one website that I can go to that really spoke to me like that. And that's who we are. And that's why I started it in a nutshell.
Yeah. I like that idea as narrowing your focus, though, because I think a lot of people don't think that that's the way to go, and a lot of it's probably because of lack of experience and thinking, well, I have to be here for everyone, or I have to appeal to everyone, not understanding that you really can't do that. That's not going to help you unless you've got the real deep pockets of, these bigger companies. But then they also have an ideal customer, as it turns out. It's not like they're, saying, well, we want to appeal to everyone. It just turns out that maybe there's a lot of appeal to more than, the person that they have in mind as well. So I think there's a lot to understand, a lot to learn about this. So that's why experts like you are very, very necessary, because there's a lot going on now. It's easy to get lost in it. So, if someone's listening and they're like, I want to start an online magazine or an e-commerce store, but, how do I get started? What advice would you give them?
It's a great question. And, just so that your listeners have a little bit of background on me, I didn't just walk into the publishing or e-commerce world without any experience. I've, over the last 10 years, I've probably launched, over 100 e-commerce websites. So my best piece, and a lot of those e-commerce websites were bootstrapped. They didn't have any audience. They were starting from scratch, and, they only had a limited amount of money to spend on building the infrastructure from the ground up. So, the best piece of advice that I can give to anybody that wants to start a magazine or e-com is build out your Pinterest profile, build out your Instagram profiles, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you start building an audience. Engage with them, talk to them like you would talk to, your friend, and just give them really good nuggets of advice that's actionable and that they can, do in 2 minutes. At the end of the day, it's really creating a voice that resonates with your target market. And once you do develop that voice, the followers, the audience will grow. But the two tactical ways to get started on that are Instagram and Pinterest.
Yeah. And you give me some advice as far as Instagram, a while back. And, I have to tell you, before I had connected with you about that, I was really kind of skeptical about, okay, what is this going to do for me? What do I do? What do I not do? And just doing a few things that I've been doing lately, and just, kind of promoting from that perspective, promoting my fiction writing, and as an author, creative, that's what I'm promoting on there. And just sharing maybe some pictures I took, or sharing a quote, something about my book, but just kind of doing it in a way that's inspirational and kind of uplifting. And it's kind of interesting, and using hashtags, as you recommended.
Yeah. As spammy as it looks, there's ways to get around it. But, you want to connect with people, you absolutely, you have 30 opportunities to get your message out there, use them on Instagram.
Right. So I have, I have seen, response because of that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, there's something, there's something going on here.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Definitely, but I can understand that, people are like, what do I do? What should I do? I get it, because each platform, does have its own, way of communicating, and if people aren't exposed to this, and if you're saying you have the experience and you're walking with that, for those people who don't, I know it can be like, well, I don't know what to do. And then people don't do it because then they're afraid they're doing the wrong thing. And, it can lead to people not really getting out there with their message the way that they really want to. But, what advice do you have for female entrepreneurs who want to scale a business? There's a lot of people who really don't even know what that means yet. What can you share about that?
Yeah, so scaling is simply growing without losing your mind. It's controlled growth. And if you're an online business, even if you're an offline business, brick and mortar store or restaurant, the best way to scale your business this is going to sound so simplistic and stupid, but I can't tell you how many times, I've had clients say, oh, well, I've never done that. And I'm like, okay. You essentially want to start an email list and grow it. You've heard it time and again, money's in the list, or on the other side, on the other hand, you know what? Email marketing is dead. It's bullshit. I actually, through my other two businesses, Femme Founder and CDA, I keep my pipelines full and my funnels full with consistently building the top end of my funnel and moving them through, my email list, so that like I said, I constantly do have sales coming in and clients, creative work. So, and like I said, the way that I keep in touch with them is through email. And so, yeah, if there's anything that you take away from this conversation, the only thing is start an email list if you don't have one. If you do have one, start growing it and start nurturing the leads that you do have on there.
Something that anyone can make a start with. It's not something that you really have to put tons and tons of money in. If you're like, well, I don't have anything to start with, you could just start that and not have to make major investments to do it. So I think that's really good advice.
I know MailChimp is free, Sendinblue is free, MailerLite is free. I mean, there's no excuse for not to start using it to your advantage and, start building your audience.
Just another quick question about that. There's a lot of people who are doing things with automating funnels and things like that. Is that something that you recommend starting out?
Yes, I do, because you want to, you want to get your subscribers or your audience used to hearing from you. So you want to get your funnel set up, and it's so easy to do that through, MailChimp and all these other email service providers. But the tricky part is, coming up with copy that actually gets them to convert and keeps them engaged.
Yes.
So, and it's all about, them as the reader. It's not about you, because, quite frankly, who gives a shit, right? So, it's really, it's all about them. And, the more that you can help them, whether it's lose weight, find the right partner, make more money, start a side hustle, be better parents, I don't know, whatever, sleep better, they'll engage with you. So, but, automation is a huge part of staying in touch with prospective customers and existing customers.
That's true. It makes it much easier than not. So, anybody listening who thinks, well, I'm just going to send it out without, not good. And you may end up, be tagged as a spammer, and you don't want that either. So It's just best to use the tools that are already existing, that are there to help you. So, for those people listening, take that in. If you're not using them, go check them out. But, there's also something else that I hear a lot now, and I'm also getting contacted on the blog about, influencers. This is the big thing
Mm-hmm.
now. So how can entrepreneurs work with influencers? Is this something that's real? Is this just a lot of buzz right now? I mean, how can an entrepreneur really take advantage of this and know that, wow, this is really going to help me?
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it's definitely a trend and it's here to stay for a while, probably for the next 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. But if you do partner with the right influencer that has a truly engaged audience, he or she doesn't need to have the largest audience. They just need to have a loyal and engaged audience. It could make a world of a difference for your business. And the most important metric is to look at what the engagement level is and not so much the vanity metrics like website traffic, follower number. It's more about likes and comments and just the overall rapport that influencer has with his or her audience. And, a lot of the larger influencers do charge sponsorship fees, but, some of like the second and third tier, actually most second and third tier influencers in the fashion and beauty industries don't charge. They'll just require a sample to review a product, to write a review. So my advice to entrepreneurs that are interested in exploring the possibilities of influencer marketing are to pull like the second and third tier influencers. You can do it by conducting a Google search or looking at Instagram or Pinterest, wherever your audience hangs out, and, put them into a spreadsheet, rank them according to engagement levels, and, reach out to them, see what they have to say, see if they want to do a collaboration. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, it's going to cost you $5,000. No harm, no foul. The answer is always no until you ask. So, I mean, it's very simple, and it could be really effective if you do pick an influencer that has your exact target market.
There's a lot of services out here where people can, like, say, an influencer or signed up, and then brands come there. Do you recommend that people use those kinds of things, or are they kind of expensive?
Yeah, it depends on what your budget is. I know that some agencies or some of those platforms could be very expensive, while others do just take a percentage of whatever the fee is going to be, that you end up paying to the influencer. I would, for anybody that's just starting out, I would suggest just doing it manually, cut the middleman out. You'll have direct communication with the person, and, it'll be more transparent. It'll be easier for you to manage as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, I guess for the other side as well, for people who might say, I'm a blogger or I'm this or that, and I want to be an influencer. I mean, is that really something a person should aspire to? Or, do you see that as a thing that people are going to look to attain, to use a blog or a YouTube channel or whatever to attain that status? Is that something that people should be working towards?
Yeah, it depends on if it makes sense for, your brand. But if somebody wants to become an influencer all around, and get paid to blog, they can certainly do that, because like I said, this is a huge trend and it's going to be here for a while. But, you just have to make sure that you have a viable following and people actually care what you're writing about. You just can't put shit out there and hope that people read it. Crap is crap,
Right.
Crap attracts crap. So, but, for the online business owner or the e-commerce shop owner, blogging is huge in terms of reaching more audiences, gaining more market share, getting more readers, getting more customers. So yeah, if you're an online service provider, like a freelancer or like a virtual assistant or consultant or a coach, yeah, absolutely. Get out there and start blogging if you have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say one thing that I found was interesting, in terms of, I started another blog maybe about a year ago called Soul of an Entrepreneur, because I was, looking to just write things down in terms of making transitions from corporate, though I'd done that a while ago, but it just seemed like so many people were coming out and not really getting the whole and true story, let's say, about getting started. So I just kind of wrote that and wasn't really thinking much about it, but then I was contacted by a couple of people who were adding that to a list or knew about the blog. And I'm like, well, how do they know? Because I don't even feel like I'm really putting it out there a lot. But somehow I was like, well, how are they finding?
Well, I mean, it could simply be, that they're following you on Twitter, or, they're huge fans of your blog, I mean, through my Femme Founder blog, I get people emailing me all the time saying, oh, we really enjoy your content, or trying to pitch me something. And, if it makes sense, I might write about it. Most don't. But yeah, I mean, when you do start getting people emailing you about your blog or pitching you, it means that you're starting to gain traction and, notoriety, and that's great. That's what you need to grow your business.
Right. But I guess I was, like so many things, even like this show, I never really started with the end in mind. It's like, I just was like, oh, let's try this. I feel sometimes like I've kind of gotten to places that I haven't really, that wasn't really, I didn't sit there and map it out. It just kind of was something I tried, and then it ended up going in its own direction. So I wouldn't recommend that, though. I think a plan would be good. A plan or a goal is probably the best way to go about it, because then once you get there, you know what you're aiming for. It's not like you're just kind of doing it and then it's like, oh, and you're surprised where you end up. Maybe that's not always the best way to do it, but it seems like a lot of things I've tried have ended up that way, interestingly enough. So, but tying into that, what is your secret sauce to audience growth?
All right. So for all of my businesses, and I didn't think that this was a possibility until I really started to learn the way that it works. Mm-hmm. The thing that's been the biggest mechanism for my audience growth has been Pinterest for all my businesses. Mm-hmm. So, and you know what? I nurture the hell out of each one of those accounts. And I mean, it's so easy to get caught up and, just like lost in the beautiful images and just pinning mindlessly. Mm-hmm. But, there really is a strategy that goes behind it. And it's been the biggest source of referral traffic for, my businesses. And, I think it's going to be for THR as well. And, we'll see what happens. But, you have a solid Pinterest strategy. All it takes is one pin to go viral, and it's like, holy shit. It's like, it can make a world of a difference. And, that happened earlier this year for me. And, I have a client that I work with on the social and the PR sides. And let me tell you something. She's a therapist in Boston, and her 60% of her website traffic and her email subscribers come from Pinterest. The rest come through, Google and PR. Mm-hmm. But before I started working with her, it was like she had virtually no presence. But Pinterest has been a game changer for her as a practitioner. And we're also getting ready to launch an app that we designed internally for her. And it's really exciting. I didn't think, 2 years ago, I had no idea. I was like, really? Pinterest? Whatever. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And I learned how to use it. I studied from some of the best, like Summer Tannhauser. Mm-hmm. And it's been awesome. It's been really awesome. So
yeah. I think that's what's so interesting about what's going on right now, because there are things that you may dismiss or think, oh, that's hype, or that's this or that. And then maybe you try it or work with it and then find, you kind of find out what you can do to make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like, wow, I didn't know that was going to happen, that way, cause I've been on Pinterest and I wasn't really taking it very seriously. And I was kind of doing things just for fun because of all the pictures. And then I
it's so easy to get lost.
It is, so then I just started putting things about my books on there. And then I started doing things about business to promote the show. And then it just seemed like after a while, that's kind of what became more popular was the things I was putting on there about entrepreneurship. And, I saw more people come on and talk about blogging. And it was like, wow, how this happened? That wasn't really my intent. So, as again, I can't say that I have a goal for that either. So, I can't say I have a goal for that either, but I did give a class to some authors on a website about how they can use it. And, I think some people are kind of like, well, I don't know, because authors, at least in terms of fiction authors, are really reticent. They kind of not really wanting to put themselves out there.
Right.
But one of the people did have some boards for her books and for characters, which I thought was a clever idea. One character is like a fashion designer, so she was going to give boards to the character and kind of create this whole persona. And I'm like, you really could do a lot with it if you really sat down and mapped it out, or if, like you did, really study and understand how you can use this tool. I think there's a lot of good stuff there that we can utilize that doesn't take a lot of money, at least to start, that we may be missing out on because, you're either dismissing it or you don't understand the capabilities.
Right. Oh, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And Pinterest, the good thing is costs $0. You could create beautiful graphics on Canva or PicMonkey, and it doesn't take a long time. As soon as you define what your style is and, you create like 45 to 50 boards that make sense. You make your first board, everything from your own blog or website. I mean, and you can use Tailwind or Board Booster to automate the entire process. And I mean, it really is like a set it and forget it, unlike Instagram, which is constant and it's a pain in the ass. But
yeah, I think they do that on purpose. They keep it its own thing. That you have to. It's a totally different kind of thing, and you really have to attend to it, I think. So, I'm not putting tons and tons of things out there every day, but I'm, trying to keep my hand in there. But, it does require more attention, I think, than some other ones that you can really kind of do something on or automatically have something update. And then you're not really having to, constantly, tend to it. But, you are, also doing something with Taylor Kennedy, who wasn't able to join us today, but she was also someone who was on the show before as well. I want to know, how do you work it out when you have friends who want to collaborate on business? Because it seems like you really have to be careful about how you set those things up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. And, Taylor, so the reason, aside from absolutely adoring Taylor, and her expertise in the wellness and beauty spaces. I thought that she could be a huge asset to THR because undertaking something of this magnitude really is a lot for one person, even for two people. So she and I had a conversation and we decided that we were going to bring her on as the editor-in-chief. And, we've defined what each one of our roles is, what their responsibilities are. And that's what has to be defined at the outset of any business, whether you're going into business with a friend or a partner or a family member, which, I've worked in family businesses on both sides with my parents, and I wouldn't recommend it because it sucks. There's always an expectation there. But at the end of the day, you really have to trust one another. And Taylor is in terms of lifestyle and products and trends. I mean, she really has her hand on the pulse, her fingers on the pulse of the beauty and lifestyle and wellness industries. So I thought, who better to bring in somebody that I trust 100% and that I get along with to, kind of manage like the editorial side while I manage more of the operations and the business side. Mm-hmm. And she's, I'm fortunate that she was willing to come on and, work with me on it. So, mm-hmm. Over the next few months, we'll be bringing on more contributors, more writers, and, somebody to manage like the ad sales side of the business while I focus more on, like I said, the operations and the larger business and kind of help tailor, refine our voice more so outside of what we've done so far.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that, I guess most businesses that I've watched or looked at to see what people are doing, more often than not, they've got, at some point, they're bringing in, like say a business partner or someone who's working with them to set the direction of the business. And do you think, I guess, ultimately, if someone does want to scale, they really want to build something, that's something they should really prepare for? They're really going to have to bring in those people. I mean, I'm not just saying employees or contractors, but people at that level who are going to work with them.
Right. And who have the expertise and, really believe in the brand and are willing to commit to, its success.
And I think that's an important point to make, because a lot of people may start out, particularly women entrepreneurs who start out on their own and maybe feel that, I can wear 10,000 hats forever and build it up. Because I think, and, just a mini little opinion here, from a lot of what a lot of people put out here in terms of marketing and trying to convince people they can run multi-million-dollar businesses 3 days a week while they travel in an RV.
Yeah, that's like a pipe dream. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Anybody who says that they've done that is full of shit, because they have systems in place. Yes. And they have people to help them. I don't care if it's a virtual assistant or a handful of, interns or contractors or friends. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just not possible to do that.
And thank you for
it's true. It's true. I mean, how many times do you go online and you read these articles or these blog posts about people that are, traveling the world, and you know what, they had this $50,000 launch, and it's like, you had this $50,000 launch because you've had a team helping you do it. Yeah. Maybe working remotely or maybe friends and family, but you didn't do it on your own because you can't do it on your own.
Right. And that's what I want to emphasize to those people who may be beating themselves up, or who are just starting out, or really have dreams for what they want to build, but feel like, because I'm not measuring up to this thing I just read or heard, I'm doing something wrong. No, you're not. You're not doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to run yourself ragged if you really think you can do it all yourself, and it's going to be frustrating to you. And I don't want people to end up quitting and giving up and burning out because they think there's some ideal they're supposed to reach that isn't realistic and isn't happening. So, that's why I wanted to emphasize that, not saying to bash anybody, but just to say, look at it realistically. If you can have these dreams and plans, but there's things you have to look at that you're going to have to bring in to the picture at some point.
Right.
Or you're not going to grow the way that you want to.
No.
So, realistically, you're not. So, that's an important point to make for those listeners who may not realize that yet. So, Kristin, please share where people can find, you and your site and social media and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So, we have two sites. I'll give you the two major ones. One is the Haute oh my goodness, I'm mixing up. It's HauteRebel.com, and, creativedevelopmentagency.com. Those are my two primary, URLs. And, Twitter is at Kristin Marquet. So it's just Kristin, Kristin Marquet. And Instagram is Kristin_Marquet. And and that's it.
Well, Kristin, I just realized I've been pronouncing your name wrong since I met you.
Don't worry about it. You know what? It's interesting that you say that. I've been married for 5 years, and I just decided I'm going to change my last name anyway. So it's probably not going to make a difference in the long run anyway.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. But well, that's good. Hopefully, I'll do better with your married name.
It's so easy. You can't butcher it. It's just Chester.
Oh, there you go. Then we're all set. We'll be fine.
Exactly.
So, Kristin, this has been really so informative and really exciting. I think even though there's a lot going on online, and sometimes you're like, okay, I'm just going to turn off my computer.
Right.
And go get some wine and sit outside.
Yep.
It's also exciting because there's just so much going on, and I know there's even more exciting things to come. As I mentioned before, technology has really changed the game for people to come on board and do these things. And it's exciting to watch at the same time that sometimes it can be frustrating. So are there any, final thoughts that you have about this thing that we're all trying to do out here in this marketplace, or anything that you didn't mention that you'd like to share?
Yeah, don't be afraid to take calculated risks. Don't quit your day job until you know that your side hustle is going to work, if that's what you're doing. I don't care what the sharks on Shark Tank say. It's easier for them to say, give up your job to give your 100% to your side business. Just make sure that you have a viable business model with a viable market who wants whatever you want to sell or produce. And if you can give them what they want, as vague as that sounds, or as much of a platitude as it sounds, it's true. You'll be successful. And once you have tested the market, and you know that there is a viable demand for whatever you want to sell, just do it. Just find a way to make it work. And, forget about what everybody else has to say, whether it's your parents or whomever. So just don't be afraid to take risks and just do it.
And that's a great advice. And, as I said, I think now with the bar of entry, it's much lower for a lot of things. You can test the market and not really put in thousands or millions of dollars.
No, you can test the market for like $100.
You're right. So it is doable to find out and see if you have something and you never know what you've got that people may be really looking for, but they haven't found it yet. So don't be discouraged by what other people may be trying to tell you, or feel like, I've got to follow what all these other people do, and then you're not doing what you really want to do. So don't get caught up in that either. So, I hope that you will listen to all this great advice and check out Kristin's websites and her social media and really learn how you can build something that you really want to do. So I'm going to thank you again for joining me, Kristin. It's been really a wonderful conversation. I'm so glad you can return to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope that, your listeners find some valuable nuggets. And hopefully they'll walk away inspired to pursue whatever business endeavors they have in their mind.
I'm sure everyone was inspired by this. And, if you really enjoyed it, please share it with your friends, share it on social media, and let everybody check it out. And as I said, give feedback on the show or any other shows or topics that you'd like to hear about. Love to hear from you. So once again, it's been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad you could join me today. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on Facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs and on the website, WomenEntrepreneurSecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.podomatic.com and on iTunes.